Welcome back to another video. Today we are in the Open Great League. The leagues have rotated and we're going to be running some stuff in the Open Great League. We are going to get matched up with a Shadow Venusaur here versus the Superior. This is kind of a neutral matchup depending on what we do with shields here. They are able to throw super effective aerial ace, but we are going to be able to survive one of those aerial aces, which is the key. We're going to have to go for this Sludge Bomb right here. They do commit a shield, so they are going to be able to get to another aerial ace here. Now we're going to be committing a shield so that we can get to our second Sludge Bomb potentially. This Sludge Bomb will do a huge amount of damage. Let's see if our opponent ends up shielding. They do go for the double shield situation, so we have no choice right here but to go for the double shield as well, as we have double water in the bag, which is extremely weak to this Superior. So we're going to go for the Sludge Bomb here. Does it KO from this range? Yes, it does. So we take out the huge counter to our backline. We're going to immediately switch out into the Lanturn versus this Jellicent. We can survive this Shadow Ball pretty easily. And then here we're going to throw our Thunderbolt here. This Thunderbolt here is going to do a significant damage, so much so that it almost takes out the Jellicent. But unfortunately for our opponent right here, they're running double water in the back as well, Jellicent and Azumarill. We're going to be able to get to another Thunderbolt here, do huge damage towards this Azumarill. This Azumarill, I'm assuming, has Play Rough. Otherwise, this is totally GG's. Okay, there is the Play Rough right there. And then we're going to have to consider going in with the Venusaur or the Swampert here. But our opponent actually ends up just deciding to leave because they are relatively energy dry. And we have a whole Pokemon in the back that is fairly healthy. So they knew the writing was on the wall. Next game, let's see what we find. Kind of discussing the team. We do have the double water in the back. Lanturn running the Spark and Swampert. So we are met with a Wiggly Tail. They decide to switch out. We're gonna have to throw a Venusaur towards this. We're gonna have to throw a Frenzy Plant towards this Sableye to either get a shield or do some huge damage. We do get a shield, and then now we're gonna be able to play this matchup a little bit easier. We do shield the correct return on our Lanturn, and then we're just going to go for this Thunderbolt right here. Once again, doing huge damage or getting this last shield. So we do get the huge damage right there, and then we're looking for a potential farm down. We think that we can survive this return, so we're going to let this go. Okay, so we do survive that return. We are going to be able to throw a move right here. Wasn't sure if we had the Thunderbolt ready, so we're going to throw the Surf. Either way, some good chip damage, and then we're going to be most likely going back in with our Venusaur right here. This Venusaur is going to be able to get to a move right here. So we do CAP tie. Our opponent is going to have to consider shielding or letting this go. They do commit the shield, and now we have a decision made. Do we shield here or do we not? We don't know what's in the back here, so we decided to let it go. And we're going to come in with our Swampert right here. Oh, unfortunately for us, it's the Medicham. Does this Medicham have Ice Punch or Power Up Punch? It looks like they have the Power Up Punch right here, which is even worse for us because now they're going to do extra damage with their counters. So we're going to go for one Hydro here. One Hydro checks a good significant damage. We cannot afford to take any more counter damage as we need to get this Medicham out of here. But do we have enough health and energy to get to a move? And unfortunately, that is not the case. So a little bit of a missed call right there. Tough to kind of figure out what was in the back right there, especially with the Wigglytuff lead. But pretty close considering the situation. So next game here, we're going to have to switch out into our Lanturn. This Gligar is a core breaker for the entire team. Even the Swampert would do only okay against this. It's doing resistant fastings. But anyways, they switch out into another counter to our Lanturn, which is going to be the Shadow Swampert. But we do call a little bit of a bait right there. They potentially could have KO'd us, but we're going to be able to get a shield. So this matchup, job well done by the Lanturn. It ended up getting a shield from our opponent in a pretty dire situation. We're going to let this Hydro Cannon go through, and we're going to be able to farm down with our Venusaur. This Venusaur here is unfortunately going to have to switch out again because they're probably going to come back in with their Gligar after this Swampert throws a Hydro Cannon. And then we're going to immediately switch out. They end up revealing that they have a Lanturn in the back here. Lanturn getting matched up with our Shadow Swampert right there with two shields would have been tough to overcome. But GG's to our opponent right there. What did they end up running? The Gligar, and they ran Lanturn as well. So kind of an interesting team that they had. Pretty meta. All right, next game we're going to be running against the Pelipper. This Pelipper has a fast move advantage, but it decides to throw a weather ball here that is resisted. So we're going to end up allowing them to throw the weather ball, and then we're going to potentially get a shield out of this situation. That's what we want. Okay, we do get a shield, and then now we're going to try to catch a move. Perfect. We do catch a move. Ends up being the weather ball right here. So best case scenario happened right there, as we did get a shield and we caught a move. We're going to get met with a Lantern in the back. So they ended up having Pelipper Lanturn so far. This is going to be potentially a Thunderbolt here. Do we decide to shield? We do decide to shield a potential Thunderbolt right there. So we just have to go for another Thunderbolt. We do know that we win CAP tie, and that's another reason why we ended up shielding. So here we're going to go for a potential KO or the shield, and they decide to let it go. We know that they have the Pelipper still, so let's see what's in the back. It ends up being the Medicham again. So Medicham is going to be able to throw a power-up punch right here. Okay, so not the best situation for us. As we discussed earlier, we rather see Ice Punch, but now these Medichams are running power-up punch to potentially boost up their counters, which is coming into play. Our opponent ends up shielding their last book, or they're using their last shield here just to get off this extra power-up punch, which is not great for us, as we have relatively low Pokemon in the back here. We're going to decide to come back in with the Lanturn. This Lanturn here is going to have to potentially shield, unfortunately. We know that they still have a Pelipper. They go for the power-up punch right there. And then we're going to try to gain a little bit of energy. We do know that this Surf does not KO, so we're going to have to potentially farm and switch out. We're going to try to get to this... we try to get to a friendly plant right there, and unfortunately it does not happen. And then that allows them to CAP tie against our Lanturn perfectly. So GG's to our opponent right there. Unfortunately for us, we did not get to that Venusaur right there. If it was a regular Venusaur, I'm pretty sure we would have been able to get there. So that's why we're going to decide to switch out this Shadow Venusaur for regular Venusaur. We already have a Shadow Swampert here to kind of do heavy damage, and now we just need a little bit more bulk. So that's the reason for that change right there. The team comp is still the same, but we're going to beef it up slightly. So Cofagrigus here in the front versus this Venusaur. We are going to stay in and purposely let them throw a move, and then we're going to throw ours, as we want to be able to gain a bunch of energy right here. Potential 2 Frenzy Plants right here before they get to their next move, and that's exactly what happens. They double shield. So is this a situation where we also double shield? We're going to commit to the double shield here. They go for the Dark Pulse right there, and we're not going to mess around. We're going to go for this Frenzy Plant immediately, potentially taking out this Cofagrigus. We want to see what's in the back here. Ends up being a Slowbro. The Slowbro, Galarian Slowbro here, is going to potentially throw Sludge Bomb right here, which is going to... it would have taken out our Venusaur for sure, but luckily this Lanturn is able to survive it. We're going to be able to throw this Thunderbolt. This Thunderbolt, I don't know, does roughly 30% towards this Lanturn. This Lanturn throws a Surf to try to chip it away and potential farm down, but it allows us to get to a Thunderbolt, another Thunderbolt to get this low enough. And we know that we can come in with our Venusaur here, potentially, to just snipe all this energy. If not, we can tank a potential Surf. So that play right there allowed us to get to the Swampert in the back right there, and they actually leave. So check out this team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.